to wrap my head around the concept of a Mandalorian Darth Maul. It's really incredible to see how that character has grown since we saw him get cut in half and fall down the shaft. Yeah, easy for you to say. Cut in half and down the shaft. So then he returns, and he's this slobbering, maniacal, half man, half mechanical spider creature. And then he's slowly brought back to someone that I find to be more calculating, more intelligent. He seemed more of just, as a matter of fact, he was always described in Phantom Menace as being just sort of a living, breathing weapon, almost as if he was devoid of thought, of opinion, of knowledge, of any sort of intelligence. And now we're seeing him much more calculating, much more sinister.
Yeah, I mean, I think the root of all that, though, is that if he is a good apprentice to Sidious would train him in his likeness, really, and teach him what he knows. The Sith, by their nature, can't be so overt. He is a deadly weapon because George needed him to be that in Phantom Menace, but he didn't have the time to get more into who he is. If you listen the few times he speaks, he is very subservient, and he doesn't come across as someone that's very dim. Mm-hmm. He comes across really rather sharp, which makes your villain, I think, that much more effective. So in the end, we really wanted to have his revenge kind of take him over in the first outing last season. And once he kind of was satisfied with trying to have that attempt at quick revenge at Obi-Wan, he calms down and kind of steps better into his body and says, this is gonna, I need to settle myself down and think about this. I need to utilize this brother I have. I need to really do what my master had taught me, which is work within the shadows and build power slowly, and then opportunities will present itself that he can take advantage of. Because especially without Sidious kind of cloaking him and protecting him at large, he would be pretty vulnerable to the Jedi Knights at this point, especially since they're aware of him. But since they're distracted with the Clone War, he's able to capitalize on this and kind of work in areas that they've long neglected. And it really leads back into the Clone Wars, the movie where the Jedi struck a deal with the Hutts that they would kind of turn a blind eye to their black market operations if they were allowed to use their hyperspace lanes, which they were unaware of. And so all that kind of comes back to haunt them in a way, and Maul might not be aware of that particular detail, but he knows that the crime world is a place that he can flourish. Obi-Wan's wary of this in the season opener. So Sam and I were pretty excited to really give Maul, I don't want to say a bit more dimension, but to show his thought process, to show that he was a good apprentice to Sidious, a cunning apprentice, because in the end it really makes him a lot more dangerous, because we already know he can fight, but we're not clear if he can fight as well as he used to, given that he's, half cybernetic now. So like anyone recovering, you kind of lean on your other skills, and in this case he has become a bit more of an architect. Hey, this is Dave Filoni of Star Wars The Clone Wars, and you are listening to Rebel Force Radio.